real cases before a real judge.
And now, enter the courtroom of Judge Mathis. Plaintiff Devin Bursch says when she started dating the defendant, he insisted that he didn't have a girlfriend. However, Devin eventually discovered that he had another woman pregnant and was living with her. Devin now has a 4-month-old child, and she's suing him for her medical bills and their baby's expenses. Defendant Charles Sigmund says after Devin gave birth to the baby, he started hearing rumors that she'd slept with several of their male co-workers. Charles has no problem stepping up and being a father, but refuses to do so unless he gets a paternity test, which Devin refuses to do.
Let me hear from you first.
Okay, so I met the defendant here in June of 2010, and we started to hang out, and I asked him if he had had a girlfriend, and he said no on multiple occasions. And so we continued to hang out, have relations.
Why'd you have to keep asking him?
For whatever reason, I didn't believe him.
Oh, okay.
So just kind of one of those things.
You never believed him?
I don't think I ever believed him, really.
All right, go ahead. So you knew he was lying from the beginning, and you went for it anyway, so go ahead.
I had an inclination to believe that he might be, so I asked.
All right. What did you ultimately find out about that?
So what I found out is he claimed he didn't have a girlfriend, and then I found out in September or October of 2010 that his ex-girlfriend was pregnant. And so I asked him again about whether or not he had a girlfriend. He said no.
How had you found out?
From him. He actually told me himself after I had confronted him.
He said, I have a girlfriend pregnant.
Ex-girlfriend.
Ex-girlfriend pregnant. And your question to him was what?
Do you have a girlfriend?
Okay.
I know. I know. I had to ask again.
Good enough.
And so I continued to have relations with him, and in, I believe it was either December of 2010 or January 2011, I found out through a mutual friend that he was living with her. This is the same woman he had the baby with.
Oh, it's the same one.
Woman.
Okay.
Yes.
Not only did he have a girlfriend, he was already living with the woman when you met him, and the woman became pregnant while you all were dating, and he was living with her simultaneously.
Correct.
All right. So what happened then? You may have been sprung by then, and it may have been too late for you to leave, because that's January of 11.
I was pretty tolerant.
Okay, go ahead.
And so by in June of 2011, I found out I was pregnant, and his baby, his son, was on the way in July. And so I did tell him that I was pregnant, and we would discuss it when he came back from leave, since we worked together.
All right. You want to give me some background, sir?
Well, we don't have to go over the whole how many relationships I'm in. I think we got that cleared up. I mean, I was in a relationship. I did have sexual relationship with this girl, you know, and it was definitely my responsibility, my fault, you know. And so I've been trying to deal with that, as obviously through this timeline, and then through this process, I had a child with her. So, you know, what I'm trying to do is do the right thing, be responsible, and take care of my kids, because that's first and foremost what's important to me.
Yeah.
So my 11th month at home, I take care of him, I provide for him. My defense is to question the paternity of it. You know, this is for pre-child support. She's coming after me for child support as well, and we're trying to clear all this up. Everything is pretty fresh. So
What do you mean pre-child support?
Well, this is all, she's coming after me for child support. This is stuff that child support wouldn't cover.
For medical expenses that occurred probably during her pregnancy.
Correct.
Is that what
and
you're
like
saying?
The crib and the things and the accessories, you know. And so I want to fill these shoes. I want to step up and be a dad, but I want to know that this is my daughter. So I asked her to take a paternity test. She denied that. Through this.
When did you ask?
Well, to be honest with you, I asked for the show. So for the show, to come here, I was like, you know, I want to make sure that we get this cleared up. We haven't gotten this cleared up, you know, before I keep giving money, and we're already here.
How old is the child?
4 months.
Okay. And what makes you doubt?
I had 3 co-workers tell me that she was in relationships with several people at the work that I worked with her at. So I brought this to her, and she was
Were
obviously
you in relationships
venomous.
with others during the same time?
Absolutely not. And
Okay.
anybody that he had talked to and anybody he's getting his information from is most likely not a friend of mine, because nobody I know would ever say anything like that about
On the
me.
birth certificate, did you sign it as the dad?
I did sign it. I did sign the birth certificate.
That was before these guys had told you that?
Correct. And even after I was told that, I still gave her money, a separate, just to give her money to help out, because, again, if this is my daughter, I do want to do the right thing.
Why wouldn't you take paternity test, ma'am?
Because it's an insult to my integrity. What happened is, in June of 2011, I told him I was pregnant. I told him I wasn't dating anybody else. I wasn't having any other relations with anybody. And then at the hospital that he actually missed her birth and wasn't there for, again, when he showed up, he had to put his information on the paternity affidavit. I asked him again if he wanted to go ahead and have a DNA test. He again declined.
Oh, you
I don't
did
know if
ask
that's
him
accurate.
then?
I did ask him, and you put a P.O. box on her birth
I
certificate.
put my mailing address on the birth certificate, but that's not the question. The question is, did you ask me for a paternity test
Yes.
when I signed the birth certificate? And I don't think that that's accurate. I think you have your, you just gave birth. I think you might have been a little misconstrued. You never asked me that. I mean, I know that you just went through a process. So again, I hadn't gone
ma'am,
through labor. I missed labor.
Why
I
wasn't it
went
an
there.
insult to your integrity then?
Because it's an insult to my integrity at this point now. Because
4
I
months later?
Yes, because I had already
That's
offered
a short
it to him.
time to get your integrity insulted.
Well,
It would be more of an insult to me right after you deliver for him to say, let me get that DNA. Right within the time that it's supposed to be joyous and joyful, he would come and say, let me get that DNA. Now that's the insulting time. If you ask him on that day to take a DNA, he should have been insulted. Why wouldn't you take a paternity test, man?
because it's an insult to my integrity. Because
4
I had-
months later?
Yes, because I had already
That's
offered
a
it to
short
him.
time to get your integrity insulted.
Well,
It would be more of an insult to me right after you deliver for him to say, let me get that DNA.
Plaintiff Devin Bursch insists the defendant fathered her baby, but the defendant wants a paternity test, which Devin refuses to do.
What did the child support court say about medical bills?
well, I'm going through DCS, and they told me that they cannot have any type of involvement whatsoever with any fees that were involved or incurred prior to the filing date, which was February 21st.
And you all have never lived together during the 4 months?
Absolutely not.
We've never lived together
And
ever.
has he had to pay child support for the 4 months?
No. They said that they don't do anything prior to filing. And so what they had advised me to do is, take care of whatever you want to take care of. We can't help you and assist you in that. And so that's
I thought you said
why
they
I'm
didn't
here.
advise you.
They didn't advise me.
Okay,
They can't.
you just told me they advised you right there. to
She
sue
told
me.
me that she could not do anything about it. It is my own choice and my own decision to be here. I do have emails as well stating that he agreed to take on and to handle this and to help me
Okay, that's
with
what I
this.
need to see, because you're not quite getting to a legal obligation here. But if he agreed to pay a certain amount, I can enforce what he agreed to pay. And you say you have given me, out of this stack of 50 pages, something that says he agreed to pay. So I'm going to give you your 50 pages back, and I'm going to allow you to read something that says he agreed to pay and how much.
Okay. And at this time, if I am able to as well, if I can
Sure.
bring my
Come on
witness
up.
as well, because she was also there
All right. State your
with the
name.
emails.
Christina Craver.
What do you want to tell me?
I've seen emails how Chuck is saying that he would help with the expenses of the baby's.
Did you say how much he would help with?
I haven't seen these emails in months, so I can't really give you an
All right.
exact amount.
She's going to show me
But-
the email, so
Yeah.
we'll be all set.
And then the day that Devin was in the hospital, Chuck, I told him that I would text him and have, let him know when Scotland was there or was about to, be birthed. And I texted him, and 3 hours later, he gets the, oh, okay, well, I'm going to come before I get to work. And then I'm like, well, she's already here. It's 3 hours later. And he's saying that he wants to provide for his daughter and be this grateful father for her, but
He was late for you, so that means he's a terrible
just
dad.
MIA entirely. Like, he's not there for her.
Okay.
Let's be realistic here. You sent me a text with 3 letters in it that I couldn't describe, so I missed the
gave you
birth
a
of my
time
child,
of-
and now you're trying to tell me that I'm a bad father when you haven't even read. Your statement is about emails and how much money that I'm
That's
going to
not
pay,
my
and you don't even know what you're talking about. Now you're talking about another situation that, again, you're trying to throw me
But
under the bus. You did not.
Chuck, for real,
Did you
like-
text me and say that my daughter's coming?
Yes.
No, that's
It was
not
a-
accurate.
it was a
You sent me
text.
one word,
Chuck?
something about
Yeah.
like.
Ma'am, you
And
keep looking for that email.
I'm sorry.
Something about 10 centimeters or 5 centimeters. I can't read mine. You didn't say anything
You just
about.
had a baby a few months ago that you were there at the hospital, so I
all
Ma'am,
six
thought...
have a
days.
seat. Have a seat.
I just had it. I apologize.
Did you ever agree to pay these
Absolutely. There's all
expenses?
kinds of different amounts that I've agreed to pay if it was my daughter, for sure. I
No,
will
no,
pay
no. The presumption is that it is your daughter since you signed paternity papers. The only way to overcome that presumption is to have the court subpoena her. If she won't take it voluntarily, you go to court and you say, I have new information that leads me to believe the child is not mine, and she refuses to take a test, and the court may order her to take that test. You
Well, I
have the email showing where he agreed to pay.
I do. I have one from March 15th. It says it doesn't work that way. We were arguing about visiting and money at
Let
that
me hear the
point.
statement where he said he'll pay.
It says, it doesn't work that way. We are not together, but I am the father of that girl, and you are acting out of line. I will give you money, and you need to work with me to see Scotland.
Okay. Did
There's-
he ever say how much money he would give?
He's never agreed to, as far as past expenses are concerned. He has only agreed
right.
to a certain
What
amount
are
for
the
child
total
support.
medical expenses that you had to pay out of your pocket?
I have $5,462. That is what my out-of-pocket expenses are.
Okay,
with
you
my
have
insurance.
evidence of that?
I have all of the medical bills.
Those are the medical bills, and the other expenses are for the care of the child?
The other expenses are for supplies such as diapers.
Yeah,
or,
for
you know,
care of the
cribs and
child
stuff.
for a
Correct.
4-month period?
Correct.
He hasn't paid anything?
No, he hasn't. He paid the $300 that I do have a statement for. He also paid $239 for daycare, which
What?
is.
You did like that?
No,
What
which
does
I
that
have,
mean?
but I don't have a receipt for that.
Now you're talking about another situation that, again, you're trying to throw me
But,
under the bus. You did
Chuck,
not.
for real,
Did you
like-
text me and say that my daughter's coming?
Yes.
No, that's
It was-
not accurate.
it was
You
a
sent me
technical-
one word, something about
Yeah.
like.
Ma'am, you
And
keep looking for that
I
email.
told-
I'm sorry.
Something about.
Plaintiff Devin Bursch insists the defendant fathered her baby, but the defendant wants a paternity test, which Devin refuses to do.
How much have you paid towards your baby's living expenses, sir?
She's absolutely correct. I was off a few dollars on my receipt, but I did short you $11 on the daycare
What's the
last
total
time, so it
amount
was
you paid on the baby?
$539.
Okay. All right. And, ma'am, I can't determine whether that's enough or not. What I can do is assess half of the child's medical and birth expenses because you have admitted to paternity, and therefore I'll grant you half of the birth expenses and medical bills pursuant thereto, $2,731. The baby expenses, the child support agency or court will have to determine what he owes from the past if they want to take that into consideration and what he owes for the future. Good luck to you.
You know Scotland's your daughter. You don't have anything to say to it.
I have
You
lots to
shouldn't have
say.
anything
Well,
to say.
what do you mean I don't have anything to say about the discomfort for coming to win what?
Discomfort?
You're talking about that you shouldn't have had to sue me, but instead you served me behind my back. You gave me a lawsuit. You came and gave me a civil suit on a Saturday afternoon when you could have just picked up the phone and said, I need more money.
Did it not work before when I've asked you for money?
I've
Through
given you
emails?
money.
Through phone?
I'm not even on, I don't even have child support yet,
it's
and I'm
over.
trying to provide.
It's over.
I know it's over. You won.
No.
What can I do?
Don't ever insult me again.